This is a film study examination of one coverage snap from the Seahawks Super Bowl win over the Patriots that I think really lends itself to talking about the coverage switches that Mike Macdonald, Aiden Durday, and the Seahawks players utilized in 2025. We would expect them to obviously rely on it next season as well, but also get into the way that the four-man pass rush schemes are layered or timed up, if you will, in a manner that is very interesting to me. So high-level switch happens here on a 3rd and 5, but Seattle makes it look really easy. They are showing man by having Josh Jobe, who's their boundary side corner. Okay, Josh Jobe plays boundary side corner in the Seattle system in 2025. Actually kind of took that job from Reek Woolen. And now they've got him lined up in the slot against Diggs. And oh, by the way, this is Nick Emanwari lined up into the boundary against a tight end. Devin Witherspoon playing the nickel DB set to the field. Too high safety structure. Obviously, looks like they're going to play cover 2-man. Like I said, it's a 3rd down here. We're into the 3rd quarter. Seattle's ahead 12-3. 12-0, excuse me. I don't even know if Seattle plays cover 2-man, right? To be honest with you, it doesn't necessarily matter. But what really matters is they made it look like they were going to. And whatever information Drake May had from a scouting and preparation standpoint really kind of goes out the window at a certain point because he's trying to diagnose the coverage. Essentially, did the Seahawks play the coverage they showed him pre-snap? Well, obviously no, number one. And number two, how does that fit with what's happening up front here, the layered or differential timing that you get with the pass rush schemes? Kind of almost looks like a Tampa version. Ernest Jones is dropping out here from the line of scrimmage. He was lined up on the line of scrimmage, mugged up, if you will, threatening a blitz. It's 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. This is Jones here. He's going to drop out. He initially opens to the field, where you do have 2 receivers, possibly the reflecting where Drake May is looking or where the back released to. I'm talking about the back releasing here and Drake May appearing to look to this side first. We will get the end zone angle in a moment. And then Ernest Jones flips his hips and gets his attention up into the boundary, the top side of our screen. I think this is a great angle view for a lot of reasons. The All-22, first of all, is a whole lot of fun. But second of all, we're directly in line with those 4 underneath defenders. And then the 5th being Ernest Jones IV, who possibly could match any vertical in the middle of the field if it is, in fact, the Tampa 2. This is, of course, Derek Hall's forced fumble. I intend to do a video on Seattle's pass rush schemes. They're 4-man, what I consider to be layered attacks, where you have 1 or 2 players, in this case DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams, attacking, trying to win in a certain gap. I think it's predetermined, the gap they're trying to win, and then other players adjusting off of them. It may sound crazy, but within this 4-man rush scheme, I think you've got 3 layers of intention, Lawrence and Williams being the first layer, the first wave, if you will. Derek Hall looping underneath. He'll get the forced fumble as the second layer or second wave. And then finally, Byron Murphy, the second, being the third portion of this 4-man pass rush. It's something I want to explore in a dedicated film study fashion that's a little bit longer. Probably focus on just end zone angle film. The last point here for me, from a coverage standpoint, is that when you think you're going to get man, sometimes with motion at any level of football, in fact, not just the NFL, and in this case, Jobe matching Diggs across really confirms for May and anyone else that it is going to be man, that sometimes will determine the routes for all of the receivers. Okay, the Seahawks are showing man, so we, the Patriots, receivers, eligibles, are going to run a certain pre-planned routes because we think we're getting man, and then lo and behold, it's cover 2 zone. Whether it's Tampa 2 or not, it's a really nice coverage adaptation that only looks even better because Derek Hall forced a fumble by stunting underneath Leonard Williams' B-gap rush. All right, here's the end zone angle, and you can see that Ernest Jones IV is at the line. He's one of 5 potential blitzers or rushers lined up directly on the line of scrimmage. We're going to get Diggs motioning across, but not until, or after, I should say, Drake May is literally directly pointing at Ernest Jones IV. And Jones is the only guy to drop out. It makes it seem to me that May knew which players were and were not going to be rushing from that front 5 presentation. In any case, it does end up being a 4-man rush, and I think that the 4-man rush schemes are no less interesting than the coverage variations or versatility that Mike Macdonald and Aiden Durde and these guys offered. Like I said, I want to do a film study that categorizes them. It's going to be a beast of a project, but it's the off season, and training camps don't start for a long time. So in any case, we're going to see Diggs motion across and Job go with him, number one. Number two, you'll see up at the top portion of the screen, just off screen for you guys, Julian Love is giving a coverage signal. He actually pointed at Job as he ran across. And so, in my opinion, he's confirming or letting him know that, hey, we're going to go ahead and play cover two. What I would love to do at some point is look at Seattle's hand signals and see if I can find consistency with the coverages that they played after giving certain signals. But in any case, here's what I'm talking about as far as the layered or differential timing with the rushes. I think that Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence are being told, rush the quarterback, try to win, but do so in a certain gap. Lawrence outside, C gap, and then Williams inside, B gap. And then I think the second portion or the second part of the attack here is Derek Hall underneath. At least that's the way that it works out. I'll probably need to try to expand on that a little bit more if I do a video that talks about the layering of their pass rush, even though they're only using 4 players to get it done. You can see Hall stunts underneath. As Williams goes up through the B gap, Hall stunts underneath and is able to force the fumble on Drake May. The score's 12-0 here, and it really gets out of hand at this point, 19-0 quickly thereafter. I think it's the touchdown pass to A.J. Barner. I believe it was Kirk Cousins who talked about being a quarterback and seeing what he thinks is going to be man coverage or zone, and then knowing that his routes to one side of the field or the other are designed to exploit man or zone. And in this case, it looks to me like we've pretty much got man routes across the board by the Patriots, and none of which fit into open spaces or open areas because Seattle's dropped out and possibly surprised them. I'm just as interested in the rush versatility, the design, the intricacies of what Mike Macdonald and Aiden Durde and the defensive line coaches are teaching and how those guys execute things with a differential timing or a layering, if you will. I'm just as interested in those things in the coverage variability. In fact, I think I've covered and discussed as in great detail the different coverages and the ways that they'll flip-flop between certain coverage schemes. At this point in the offseason, I think I'd like to get a better handle or idea on the way that he's using 4-man rush schemes, he being Mike Macdonald, 4-man rush schemes to layer or attack the quarterback with different layers or levels of the pass rush. In any case, if you guys enjoy this type of video, please let me know in the comment section. Generally designed to be in the 3 to 5 minute range. This one certainly goes well past it. It's a 3rd and 5 where Seattle switches coverage post-snap after showing that they're going to play man, and I think they make it look super simple, but it's really not. There's a whole lot of organization and preparation, if you ask me, that goes into it. At that point in the season, the Super Bowl, Seattle was, operating at the height of their efficiency, and the Patriots were really, facing an uphill battle no matter what. In any case, I appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Seahawks fans would enjoy this film study look at one coverage snap from the Super Bowl win over the Patriots, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.